Welcome back to Forgotten Hollywood. 70 years ago, Walt Disney came out with one of its most classic films, Lady and the Tramp. This movie is classic for several reasons. One of them is the plotline. It is a very well-known story of the girl from the good family falling for the bad boy. This has happened a lot. Also, this came out in 1955. The bad boy with a heart of gold was a very popular trope relating to the 1950s. It's actually why in Happy Days, Fonzie was the bad boy with the heart of gold. The show was made in the 70s, but it took place in the 1950s. One of the things that makes the movie Lady and the Tramp relatable to audiences, obviously we are not dogs, we do not have the experience of dogs, but it blends the social structure of the human world and the animal point of view. In our human world, we have social hierarchy. In every age of history, humans have had social hierarchy. You have the elites, you have the celebrities, you have the outcasts, you have the leaders, you have the followers. They still have that hierarchy among the animals. You know, they have the pets and they have the strays. And even among them, there is social hierarchy. Peg was able to order around the guys at the pound, and they listened to her because of who she was and that she had that level of respect. In a similar way, the dogs that were pets had a similar structure and a code of etiquette. And when Lady went to the pound, that damaged her reputation among pets, which I hadn't really thought about this scene much when I was a kid watching it. I'd seen it, I don't know how many times when I was a kid. I love this movie. But watching it recently with my kids, it really hit me about the scene where Jock and Trusty come to her right after she gets back from the pound.
Please, I don't want to see anybody.
No, Lassie. Dinna feel that way about it.
Of course not, Miss Lady. Why, some of the finest people I ever tracked down were jailbirds.
Quiet! Great loony!
And I started looking at it in a human dynamic. Lady's reputation was tarnished. Her social standing was in jeopardy. And here come these two, albeit elderly gentlemen who are friends of hers and single. And they are telling Lady, you're not being treated well here. We will take you into our homes. We will take care of you and protect you and repair the damage to your social standing by letting you share ours. And it's similar to a story like Pride and Prejudice, where Lydia ran off with the guy Wickham.
Now she's ruined.
You're all ruined. Who will take you now with a fallen sister?
But she married him, which repaired the damage and allowed her sisters to marry well. Even with that taint, Lizzie may not have been able to land a man like Darcy unless he was already in love with her, which he was. And so him marrying her cemented the respectability of the Bennett family, and the scandal is basically forgotten at that point. What these men were doing was, they actually say in the scene the word matrimony. They are offering to marry this girl to repair her social standing and make it so she can show her face in the neighborhood. And of course, she turns him down. It was a gesture of kindness. They weren't really wanting anything from Lady. They were just trying to help her in a bad situation. They, as dogs, did not understand why Jim Deere and Darling had left. They did not know if and when they were coming back. All they knew was Lady is being mistreated in this house with this woman. She needs to be in a safer place. And so they came in and tried to be chivalrous knights in shining armor and save their dear friend. It wasn't needed, but it was cute when you really understand what it was that they were doing. This movie also has a different interaction between the humans and the animals than other Disney movies, such as 101 Dalmatians, where the dogs consider the humans to be their pets, and Fox and the Hound, where, depending on the animal, the human is either caregiver or threat. It is, however, very similar to Aristocats, which has the same sort of social structure among the animals, this case cats, and the relationships with the humans.
Oh, Thomas, that would be wonderful. Darling, if only I could.
But why can't you?
Because of Madame. Well, I could never leave her.
But Madam's... Well, she's just another human. You're just her house pets.
Oh, no. We mean far more to her than that.
With the pets understanding that these humans are companions that need them for emotional support. And Lady understands that Jim, Dear, and Darling have a baby, and this baby needs to be protected. And as the dog of the family, it is her job, and only her job, to protect this baby. That's actually the reason why she turned Jock and Trusty down. She said, "You're being very sweet, but who will look after the baby?" That was her priority, is I am the dog of this house. There is a baby in this house, and I'm staying put and making sure that baby is safe no matter how they treat me, because I am the dog of the house, and that is my job. Very loyal dog. And this is what makes the characters both relatable and believable, because they are modeled after the human society, but incorporating the thoughts and feelings of a dog. As part of the social dynamic, it explores the experiences of a pet versus a stray. And it's very similar to something like The Prince and the Pauper, or The City Mouse and the Country Mouse, where Lady gets to experience life on the streets, ever so briefly, and see what it's like to, run free, chase chickens, essentially get arrested, go home in shame. And she understands that life on the streets is not for her. That's not what she wants. That's not what she likes. She likes being in the home, and she has her responsibility, which is why at the end, she does not leave her family to go with Tramp, but Tramp leaves his world to go into hers, because it is a safer and more comfortable place for both of them. It also shows real danger to the animals. Now, as a child, I didn't know what the one-way door in the pound was, and it hits a little harder now as an adult, understanding what that is and what was waiting for Tramp at the pound. I did understand the threat of the rat, which was not just a threat to the dogs, but it was a threat to the humans, because the rat was in the baby's room, which is, of course, why Lady had to get it away. And when she was unable, Tramp stepped up, because what was important to her was important to him. It's not just an animal movie, it is a romance. It shows the relationship between Lady and the Tramp from their first meeting. It highlights that classic tale of someone who is prim and proper, from a good family, never wanted for anything, exposed to the rough and tumble life of the streets, and someone who has had to fight for everything their whole life. And those opposites attracting. Just shows them getting to know each other, and he shows her his life, she shows him her life, and in the end, they choose the comfortable, safe life in the home, which was also a big theme in the 50s and 60s to promote family life in family films. They wanted children to see a model of mom, dad, children in a home. They wanted that to be a goal. So in summary, Lady and the Tramp is a lot deeper than it might look on the outside. It's an animal adventure, but it is also a romance. It's also a drama. It's also a comedy at times. And it's just a classic story, which is why it has endured for 70 years as one of Disney's most iconic movies. Thanks for watching. What's your favorite animal movie? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, and I will catch up with you next time.